Hi, I'm Jon Leslie from Broad Cove Insights. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up, create, plan, and track objectives and key results, otherwise known as OKRs, in Favro. OKRs have become one of the most popular and effective methods for company leadership and teams to set clear, achievable goals with measurable outcomes. The objective is the overall goal, and the key results track the progress towards that goal. The benefits of OKRs directly support business agility, specifically in regards to scaling Agile. Organizations striving to transform themselves from traditional command and control hierarchies to autonomous and aligned teams have found that OKRs promote alignment across teams of teams, establish focus, foster both autonomy and accountability, encourage employee engagement, and inherently provide overall company transparency. So let's get started. To begin with, it's a good idea to create a specific collection for your objectives and key results like the one you see here. This will eventually evolve to become your OKRs dashboard for the entire organization. We're going to start at the company level with this strategic OKR backlog over here in this left-hand pane of this specific collection. When I open this up, you can see that there are already some example objectives. Now, objectives are leadership's intent and what they want the teams to achieve. They should be qualitative, aspirational, and measurable in some way, shape, or form. Teams typically commit to 1 to 3 objectives per planning period, depending on the duration of the OKR period. Objectives like the ones you see here at the company level will drive overall strategic direction moving forward. Once you have them created, it's then a good best practice to prioritize them by business value using a custom priority field like the one you see here. You can also stack rank them by priority, as we've also done. Based on that priority order, during OKR planning, ideally leadership and the teams will sit together to create the key results for each objective. These key results are how the team determines success towards the objective. They are always quantitative and represent the specific desired outcomes of the overall goal. Key results should also be difficult to achieve at 100%, which is going to drive your team's ambition. To put this in perspective, most teams consider anything above 70% to be a success. A general rule of thumb with KRs is to have 3 to 5 key results per objective. Once the KRs are created, those can also be stack ranked and prioritized by business value. Also, during OKR planning, the teams will use a board like the one you see here in the right-hand pane of this collection. To continue the planning, this board will also be used to track the progress towards those KRs over the course of the cadence period. Based on the length of that cadence period, whether it's monthly, quarterly, annually, the team will commit to the highest priority key results. They can select those from the backlog and then drag and drop them to the strategic OKR planning and tracking board, thus committing to those specific KRs for that objective. Of course, the same thing can be done for multiple objectives. Like so. I'm going to hide the backlog for a second. Now here, when the team is continuing to do their planning, again based on the key results they've committed to, one by one, probably based on priority order, they'll click on the card to open them and maybe enter a starting percentage complete. So recruit 5 new customer success representatives, for example. Maybe they've already actually recruited and hired 1, so we could start this at, say, 20% complete. This is also using another custom field. Now, one of the most overlooked components of OKRs are tasks. Tasks represent the specific actions that team members should take to achieve the key results. Although tasks can and should change as things are tried and more is learned, it's important for self-managed teams to take the time to establish an initial set of tasks and figure out who should do what at the very beginning of an OKR cadence period, as you can see here. So we've broken this particular KR down into tasks and assign those tasks at the task level using add assignments to the appropriate person. After this has been done for all the committed KRs, planning is essentially complete, and then progress can begin to be tracked on this same board. I'm going to open up the backlog again so you can see that in fact we do have these cards in multiple places, which is a unique capability of Favro. This one, for example, exists both here in the backlog where it originated and also here on the planning board. So this allows you to track from both places. Say maybe this backlog was actually being worked on by multiple teams, maybe working out of multiple boards. They can still all be tracked from a single backlog, thanks to the ability to have the cards in multiple places at the same time. For example, if I reveal a little bit more of the backlog, you can see that we have a custom progress tag column created. Now for each one of these KRs, as they are pulled from percentage complete to a greater percentage complete, thus tracking progress towards the completion of that KR, you'll be able to see this in both places. So this one maybe started at 20. You see that automatically reflected back here in the backlog. When it gets pulled into 40% complete, it's also reflected back in the backlog, 60%, so on and so forth. Now that's going to be true for all of the KRs as they progress from essentially 0, hopefully through to at least 70%. Like so. Okay, fast forward to the end of an OKR period, and maybe we're doing a retrospective and we want to see where we ended up for all of the objectives and key results that we committed to. So first of all, taking a look at the OKR planning and tracking board, we can see that for this customer satisfaction objective, all of its KRs, some of them ended up at 60, some at 80, one of them even hit 100%. Okay, for this increased revenue objective, some of them again made it to 60% complete. We have one at 80 and another one here at 100% complete. So we're overall pretty good in this example. Now, if I open up the backlog, we can get even more specific, maybe more detail on overall progress and were each one of the KRs and objectives met. So I'll open this up. And you can see here that along with the business priority, we also saw the progress, we saw the starting percentage, we also now have the ending percentage complete for each one of the KRs. Now, as these change, you can see that it automatically rolls up to an overall percentage complete for the objective itself. So if, for example, this one maybe reached 100% complete instead of 80, you can see how that automatically rolls up and change the ending percentage complete for the objective based on the KR percentage rate. You can also see here that I've added the checklist column and renamed it task progress. Here you can see for all of the task breakdowns exactly how many tasks were created and how many of those were completed by the end of the OKR period. Now, looking at these things and just having the general conversation, we can say, okay, were these KRs met? Maybe one at a time. This one achieved 80%, 6 out of 8 tasks. This one achieved 100%, 7 out of 8 tasks. We're going to say that that KR was met. 60%, 8 out of 8 tasks, close enough, so on and so forth. Now, we can see that the overall objective, based on KRs anyway, is at 75% complete. We're going to have that conversation again. Was the overall goal met? That qualitative goal met of the objective? In this case, we're going to say yes and check that off as well. And we can do that for all of the other key results that we're committed to and their overall objectives. Now, finally here, for the sake of example, if you add a time box in the timeline column for each one of these objectives and KRs, you can use the same OKR backlog as a roadmap. So I can switch this from a Sheets view to maybe an objective roadmap. That's going to show me on a timeline exactly what to expect from an objective standpoint for, in this case, the overall strategic initiatives of the company. Now, since you can have multiple timeline views, I've used a different filter to see the supporting details of the key results. When can we expect each one of those key results? Again, visualizing that on a timeline, essentially an OKR roadmap view. Now, one other thing I would like to show you, another reason to run your OKRs in Favro is, of course, all of your other work is actually happening in Favro as well, hopefully. So keep the OKRs in the same place where all of your other work, all your other teams are getting things done. So for example, as maybe, again, this recruit 5 new customer success representatives is in progress, maybe it's here, you're able to link this card. You're actually able to break this card down if you choose to, using this functionality, break down to board, and you can see that I've broken this card down, recruit 5 new customer success representatives. Not only have we broken it down into tasks, but we've also broken down the card itself to a board that supports this specific key result, a recruitment pipeline. So if I go to this and open this up, you can see that this exists in multiple collections. It exists in a people operations collection. Maybe a recruitment agency is also helping with this particular initiative, with this particular key result. So you can see again that the boards can exist in multiple places, multiple collections, as well as the cards existing in multiple places. So we're going to go to it. I actually have it here in this objectives and key results collection. So you can see it opened up the link from the card to this board. Now there's a link going back the other way. You can see that it was broken down from this particular card. The actual key result sitting up here in the OKR planning and tracking board, and of course also back here in the OKR backlog. Now if I open this board up, you can see that it's literally been broken down into the flow to recruit those 5 customer success representatives. And we're able to track that progress from here, of course, and also thanks to relations and that link back up here from the KR card. So that's just one example of how the KRs can be completed or work towards completion by other teams and other collections through their normal workflows. So the last thing I'd like to show you is the ability to have multi-level OKRs within your organization. So maybe we've been focused on strategic company OKRs so far. Now we can also have, maybe from the same starting to be a dashboard OKR collection, we can add OKR backlogs for each one of our departments or teams. So we can have a marketing OKR backlog, a sales OKR backlog, development, so on and so forth. So if at the strategic level or company level a new objective was added, such as increase market awareness in Europe. Okay, so maybe this is best suited for maybe being driven by the marketing team. So we could take this, we could keep it here in the strategic backlog, but we could essentially assign this for a breakdown into KRs to the marketing team by dragging and dropping this to the marketing team's OKR backlog, like so. Now this objective exists in both places. And as this is broken down into KRs and progress is made on it, it can be tracked both here at the marketing level and also back up here, because it exists in both places again at the strategic company level. For example, if I set business priority here as high, that's automatically reflected back here in the strategic company level backlog as well. Again, since the backlogs and boards can exist in multiple collections, it makes sense for this marketing OKR backlog to exist not only here in the OKR dashboard, so to say, but also in a team level collection. So by clicking on the board menu here. We can say add or move to collection, and we will add this to a marketing team collection. Add here. Now, again, that exists in both places, both here at a marketing team level where they're doing all of their work. They have their marketing backlogs, their marketing sprint boards, marketing roadmaps, so on and so forth. And also up here at the objective and key results dashboard level. So just a good quick example of having multiple levels of OKRs within your organization, all set up, being tracked, planned, created in Favro. In conclusion, as with many things, OKRs are deceptively simple to implement but often difficult to see real results, especially in the beginning. It'll most likely take your teams a few cadence periods to become proficient at creating good qualitative objectives and measurable key results. Real-world OKRs are more difficult to create than the examples you see in books and on the internet and videos like this one. Be patient, push yourselves to improve from cadence period to cadence period, and results will come. OKRs are one of the best techniques to help companies reach unprecedented heights and achieve business agility throughout the entire organization. Thanks very much, and best of luck with OKRs and with Favro.